In September of 2025, sitting in a wheelchair at a 50th anniversary screening of the film that made him a legend, Tim Curry told the crowd, with characteristic dry humor, that he wouldn't be singing or dancing again anytime soon. Less than a year later, on Tuesday, the 25th of August 2026, he passed away peacefully at his home in Los Angeles at the age of 80. For nearly 15 years, Curry had lived almost entirely out of the public eye, fighting a battle most fans never fully understood. Today, we're telling the real story of the man who terrified, delighted, and mesmerized audiences for over 5 decades. From a mad scientist in fishnets to one of horror's most iconic clowns, Tim Curry's passing was confirmed by his longtime manager and close friend, Marsha Hurwitz, who told Variety that Curry died peacefully at his home in Toluca Lake. According to TMZ, citing law enforcement sources, police responded to Curry's residence at 11:23 p.m. on Tuesday night, and no foul play is suspected in his death. As of this recording, an official cause of death has not been confirmed. What is publicly known is that Curry had lived with serious, ongoing health complications for more than a decade, following a major stroke in 2012 that left him partially paralyzed and unable to walk. Out of respect for his privacy, a value he protected fiercely throughout his entire life, we won't speculate further on the specific circumstances of his death. It's worth noting, briefly, that just 2 days before his actual passing, a false death hoax about Curry had circulated widely on social media, one of several fake celebrity death reports that have plagued him and other stars over the years. His representatives firmly denied that hoax at the time. His real death, confirmed independently through his own manager and law enforcement sources just days later, is an entirely separate, tragic, and very real event. Timothy James Curry was born on the 19th of April 1946 in Grappenhall, Cheshire, England, the son of a Royal Navy chaplain and a school secretary. His early childhood was unusually nomadic for a young boy in post-war Britain, with the family moving between Malta, South Africa, and Hong Kong before his father suffered a stroke of his own, prompting the family to settle in Plymouth. Curry's father passed away from pneumonia in 1958, when Tim was just 12 years old, and the family relocated again to South London. Curry developed a genuine talent for singing as a boy soprano, and went on to study English and drama at the University of Birmingham, graduating in 1968. His professional career began that same year, when he joined the original London cast of the musical Hair. It was there that he met Richard O'Brien, a connection that would soon change the entire trajectory of his life. O'Brien was writing a strange, campy musical send-up of classic horror and science fiction films, and he offered Curry the lead role. In 1973, Curry originated the role of Dr. Frank-N-Furter in the London stage production of The Rocky Horror Show, bringing the character to Los Angeles the following year, before starring in the 1975 film adaptation, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. The film was largely ignored by critics upon release, but it developed an extraordinary second life as a midnight movie phenomenon, eventually becoming one of the most enduring cult classics in cinema history, and cementing Curry's Dr. Frank-N-Furter as one of the most iconic performances of the entire decade. Curry went on to build a remarkably diverse career across film, television, and voice acting over the following decades, frequently drawn to villainous, larger-than-life characters. He terrified an entire generation of children as Pennywise the Clown in the 1990 television adaptation of Stephen King's It, and brought comedic menace to the role of Wadsworth the Butler in 1985's Clue. Younger audiences came to know him as Cardinal Richelieu in The Three Musketeers, as the demonic Lord of Darkness in Ridley Scott's Legend, and as the villainous Mr. Big in the beloved holiday sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. He originated the role of King Arthur in the original Broadway production of Spamalot in 2004, earning a Tony Award nomination, adding to a career that already included multiple Olivier Award nominations and a Daytime Emmy Award for his voice work. Across more than 100 film and television credits, Curry became one of the most recognizable character actors of his generation, instantly identifiable by his commanding voice and theatrical presence, even when his face was hidden behind makeup or animation. In 2012, everything changed. Curry suffered a massive stroke that left him with significant permanent physical limitations. including paralysis that confined him to a wheelchair for the remainder of his life. Rather than retreat entirely, Curry continued working where he could, particularly in voice acting roles that didn't require the physical mobility his condition had taken from him. His public appearances became increasingly rare, but in September of 2025, he made a poignant appearance at a 50th anniversary celebration of The Rocky Horror Picture Show, speaking candidly to the crowd about his condition. He told them plainly that he still couldn't walk and that it was very limiting, adding with dry humor that he wouldn't be singing or dancing again anytime soon. In 2025, Curry also published his memoir, titled Vagabond, which became both a New York Times and USA Today bestseller, offering fans a rare, reflective look back at his own remarkable career, just months before his death. As previously mentioned, Tim Curry's official cause of death has not yet been confirmed, though it's understood that the health complications stemming from his 2012 stroke had continued to affect him for the remainder of his life. Given his family's, and Curry's own, long-standing preference for privacy around personal and medical matters, we won't speculate further on specifics that haven't been officially disclosed. Contrary to the framing some coverage has used, Tim Curry never married and did not have any children. He was famously, deliberately private about his romantic life throughout his entire career, once telling an interviewer directly that who he loved was of paramount interest to him and of very little interest to the public. His longtime manager, Marsha Hurwitz, has occasionally been mistakenly identified in media reports as his wife, but she confirmed to Variety in her own statement that theirs was a professional and personal friendship, not a marriage. Curry's immediate family had largely predeceased him by the time of his death. His mother, Patricia, passed away in 1999, and his only sibling, an older sister named Judith, who became an accomplished concert pianist, died of a brain tumor in 2001. Friends and colleagues have described Curry as fiercely independent throughout his life, someone who valued his dignity and privacy above public scrutiny, even during the most difficult years of his health struggles. Over a career spanning more than 5 decades, across film, television, theater, and voice work, Tim Curry built a net worth estimated at approximately $20 million. That figure reflects decades of consistent, in-demand work across dozens of major film and television productions, along with his stage career, his voice acting work, and continued royalties from projects like The Rocky Horror Picture Show, a film that has never stopped earning long after its original release. Tim Curry's career offers a genuine lesson in reinvention and resilience. He built a legendary reputation playing villains and outsiders, characters defined by theatricality and menace, and yet by every account from those who actually knew him, he approached his own life with humor, independence, and quiet dignity. Right through more than a decade of serious physical hardship, he never sought public sympathy for his condition, choosing instead to keep working in whatever capacity remained available to him and to speak about his struggles honestly, but on his own terms only when he chose to. Tim Curry spent more than 5 decades bringing some of cinema's most unforgettable characters to life, from a fishnet-clad mad scientist who redefined what a midnight movie could be, to a nightmare-inducing clown that terrified an entire generation. Even after a devastating stroke took away his ability to walk, he kept working, kept creating, and kept showing audiences the same wit and presence that had defined his entire career. He leaves behind a body of work that shaped multiple generations of film and theater fans, and a legacy of independence and resilience that outlasted even his own health. Rest in peace, Tim. Thank you for the wickedness, the wit, and the wonder you brought to every role.